Thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats postgame. Joined by Jason Shear. I'm Mike Luke. Arizona basketball, your Pac-12 champions. We do not need to worry about scoreboard watching. We do not have to worry about anything. If there was any team that deserved to win the conference championship on Pauley Pavilion's court, destroying UCLA, it was them, Jason Shear. Us, we did it, boss.
Yeah, that was fun, man. And the best part was like no stress. No stress involved at all. That was one of the almost few Arizona games where you could just watch back and enjoy all of it. It was great. I was switching back and forth. Shout out Mike Hopkins. Great job coaching. Great
job, coach.
Good job, Coach Hopkins. But yeah, fun night for all.
All right, now let's talk. Generally, we start with the starters, but we've been talking about this. We got to give a lot of props to the bench here. Jason Shear was vehemently against KJ Lewis and Jaden Bradley. This is true. Listen, joking aside, KJ Lewis had the game of his career, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And I've been saying this from day one. We're going to get into all the game, but I've been saying this from day one that it feels like he's going to be somebody that's going to be on the court at the end of games in a big NCAA tournament game. I wanted to get KJ Lewis back. We've got KJ Lewis back. We'll get to all of that. But yes, KJ Lewis.
Yeah, I said in my breakdown, and after watching the first game, if you remember, like in the first matchup, UCLA could not guard KJ. Like they don't have anyone that comes close to his athleticism. And tonight he just made it seem easy. Like I'm looking it up. He missed 1 shot.
Right.
Oh no, he wound up missing 3 shots because of the end. But at one point he was like 6 or 7. And it's just, they couldn't guard him. They just couldn't. They have no one that could stay in front of them. And you're right. Him and Jaden Bradley are your X factors. If Arizona makes a run in March, it'll be due in large part to those two.
Because I just don't know another team in the country, and I'm sure there is, but you look around some of these teams in the country that are really good. Kansas doesn't have anybody like them coming off the bench. They got guys that look like us coming off the bench. Obviously, they're not really there. There really isn't anybody that when KJ Lewis and Jaden Bradley are playing well from the perimeter, that they have that type of ability. And that's, again, where I'm cool with the starters. We're going to get to the starters and the style of play. We're going to make fun of UCLA a lot in this as well. But, man, that's really a trump card when you can bring 2 difference makers like that off the bench.
In the tournament, you only need to go 7 deep. Some teams will go 6 deep. That's all you need. You don't need 8 guys. If you need 8 guys, something probably went wrong. So the fact that Arizona has Bradley and has KJ Lewis as the first 2 guys off the bench, even Krivas. I thought Krivas was more than fine today. He had 6 rebounds. He didn't score, but he was fine. He wasn't a lost cause out there. But if you can bring in guards, if you have guards off the bench, it's much different than having bigs off the bench. Because in the tournament, you need your guards. That's going to win you the title. In Arizona, in this case, when you have your combo of Boswell, Bradley, and Lewis playing well, Arizona can beat anyone in the country.
One of your senior staff writers, Erica, the great Erica Day, saying she's loving the new haircut. It looks sharp, Sheer. We like it. Oh, by the way.
It was a little rough yesterday.
By the way, guess what? We got our first super snap. $4.99, Pauley half empty, Mick half size, have fun in Iowa, losers. Let's make fun of UCLA before we get to Arizona. Listen, Mick Cronin has done a good job in the past. That thing is not going to end well. And watching that team, that is one of the least talented UCLA teams that I have ever seen. There is one player on UCLA that would play at Arizona, and that's Bona. Nobody else is playing at Arizona. And that's wild to think about, Sheer, that you've got that amount, that you're in UCLA, you're coming off some pretty good tournament wins and whatnot, and you've got nobody that would play at Arizona outside of one dude.
Yeah, and Cronin's already gone over the excuse of like, hey, we lost so many guys. I lost NBA All-Stars and this and that. And I get it, but, he struck out a lot in recruiting. And the blame is NIL and all that, but he missed out on a lot of guys. Like, there's guys that went to schools that didn't have better NIL than UCLA. And I said this feels to me, and I said this before, this feels a lot like the end of the Ben Howland era, where he couldn't recruit Southern California anymore. They have one commit coming in, and Eric Freeney, who's good, but then you have to go international. That international guys, they don't fit with Mick. Right. Someone with Arizona, close to Arizona, told me that it would never work because he doesn't have the patience. Like, Arizona's redshirting a dude. Mick Cronin's not redshirting an international player. Like, look at Jan Vide tonight, for instance.
Right.
I thought he played well offensively. He was the only dude. He ate, and I know it was in junk time, but Mick hasn't played him like all year.
Right. And here's we got another super snap.
It's real simple, Mike. Me and you agree. Sorry. Will McClendon is a D2 guard or a bench guard that could give you 2 minutes, 10 minutes max, right? He started tonight and played 17 minutes.
That is a massive, massive problem. We'll make fun of it. Mr. Tyler Warden, thanks for the super snap pay to the order of Mick Cronin's bar tab. All right. Arizona, and we're going to get back to UCLA because there's a lot to make fun of. Man, this team's just hitting on all cylinders. Everybody is doing exactly what they need to do. Kylan Boswell only had 10 points, but you could tell the confidence was there, especially in the first half. He was hunting his shots. When he had a guy backed off of him, he was looking for that. He looked great there. Obviously, we don't worry about Caleb Love. Keshad, let's talk about Keshad for a second. This is the kind of game that I want from him. Again, I don't need 23 points, but I need 11 rebounds. I need that. I need you to notice Keshad Johnson out there. And this team's just gelling, Sheer. And it's nice to see at this stage of the year, not trying to figure out where everybody is. Is somebody hurt? They're ready, man. They're ready.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're in the second to last game of the season, and one of the lasting shots was in the last 4 minutes. They go to the bench, and the starters are cracking up and having fun. Right. Like, this isn't the time of year you usually see teams do that. They're grinding out games, and everyone's. You're right. Everyone's hitting their stride. Like, this is one of those games, and I think you tweeted it. No complaints, not one. Like, I could look hard, and I could really try to deep analyze this game. There isn't one complaint I have. Keshad was awesome on the glass. Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Caleb Love, it was a quiet 17 points, right?
17.
Like Pella, Boswell was great. Again, like I know he had 10 points, but he had 5 assists.
He was confident. He wasn't totally cool with that.
Totally cool. And they were absolutely trying to get on him early in the game.
Right, for sure. Now let's make fun of Carlos here for a second. This is true. Carlos, the UCLA fan. Carlos tried telling me earlier in the year, this is true that Andrews, McClendon, and Mack had more long-term potential than Bradley, Boswell, and Lewis. No, they don't.
Man, that's the same dude that said that Mick Cronin should deserve Pac-12 Coach of the Year.
Pac-12 Coach of the Year. We do not agree with this. But you even look at Umar Ballo, leader of men. Didn't have his double-double. Didn't really need it. I mean, it's just very nice to see a team that is gelling because keep in mind, a month ago, Arizona was not playing great basketball. You were starting to wonder, okay, does Arizona have a point guard issue? Is the chemistry on the team? What's that exactly like? This team on paper, and I've thought this from day one, this team on paper fits perfectly in that you've got the point guard, you've got the scorer, you got the jack of all trades, you got the physical, athletic four-man, you got the big man down low, you got the guards. On paper, this team fits perfectly.
RJ said something interesting. He said that in terms of completeness and how good this team is, he thinks it's the best Arizona team since that McConnell, Wisconsin team.
I agree with that. I
kind of agree with that because when everyone's playing well, like this team is really, really good. And the thing that I like about it is I'm not picking on, but let's say Boswell's not playing great. You have a Jaden Bradley off the bench, right? Let's say you need a guy with energy. You have KJ Lewis, and it's complete. Like you said, like you have your center, you have Keshad. Everything goes together really, really well. It is in this day and age of college basketball, when you watch it, and I'm watching ASU on the TV.
Nice.
They're a perfect example. It's a lot. Most of it's about roster construction. Right. Like Danny Hurley does a great job at UConn where everything fits. You don't necessarily need a big scoring center if you have really good guards and all. Like that's how you look at it. And this, to me, I love the Ben team and all that Tommy had, but this is by far the most well-constructed roster that Tommy's had at Arizona.
And the reason, too, that I like that, again, AZ Wildcat, thanks for the super snap. I hedged on Wazoo so all of you could win the conference champion bets. You are welcome. Thank you very much. Not all heroes wear capes, as the saying goes. But one thing about it, too, that like with the Ben team, listen, Ben, as much as I love Caleb Love, Ben Matherin's a better basketball player than Caleb Love. But, in
college, Ben didn't defend a shadow in college.
That's true.
I think Caleb's a better college player than Ben.
I'll take it. Well, look at you coming around right now. First, by the way, Sheer tried stealing something from me, and he got caught.
Shelby's in the process of going back on every podcast and listening.
Ryan Hansen gave me credit. The great Ryan Hansen gave me credit for coining the term the Caleb Love experience. Jason Shear got upset about it with no
Rhino,
proof. I have receipts. You
Rhino
don't.
thanked a tweet. Rhino thanked a tweet saying that I'm the one that came up with it.
Now, yeah, but I believe this team is better than the 0-1 team or 0-1. No, it's
Well,
definitely
point
not
guard
better.
is the obvious way, right? Like point guard is
a massive problem. And then the bench was just, let's be honest here, the bench didn't have difference makers. And Tabella's come tournament time was bad. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. This team is better.
I love Justin,
in my opinion.
Like I love Justin Kier for what he did and all that. Yeah. Jaden Bradley's better than Justin Kier. Kylan Boswell's better than Kirk Kriisa. You know, that was the big difference.
Lewis, my friend.
Yeah, and that was the big difference, right? Like at the end of the day, remember we're a few weeks out from people saying they want Kirk Kriisa over Kylan Boswell, right?
Oh.
As if the tournament.
I never went there. You got to give me
no. I'm saying like people general, as if the past few tournaments with Kirk Kriisa went well, right?
Correct.
It's just it's this team is I like Tubelis. Love Tubelis. He's not athletic. He's not guarding and opposing. Like if Arizona faces an athletic four-man, you're not as worried because you know that Keshad can guard him.
All right, let's go to the Desert Financial Credit Union. By the numbers, my friends, by the numbers. Presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Okay, a couple things that really stick out here. 44 rebounds to 30, and then 16 assists to 16 to 7 assists. Arizona is doing a much better job of the assist and the turnovers. What are the turnovers, by the way?
It was Arizona had 9 and UCLA had 10.
Dude, if Arizona's only got 9 turnovers, then they're not going to lose many games. 9 turnovers is that's a very special number.
I mean, look, dude, like they just faced a pretty solid defense in UCLA. They shot 52% from the field, 40 from 3, had 9 turnovers and 16 assists.
Right. Now, by the way, Noah, good call. Let's call Shear out for all of his nonsense. Remember
this? He just dropped on KenPom, Mike.
What's that?
Arizona dropped on KenPom.
What? Oh, because, I don't care. I'm fine with we're going to get to seeding in a second. I'm fine with Arizona being a 2 out west. Shear, apologize to Jaden Bradley as well.
Yeah, but I've come around on that.
Okay, man.
I'm not too.
Shear's taking a lot of L's this season. A lot of L's.
Jaden looked good.
Jaden, KJ, and Caleb, all L's for Shear.
But you're still apologizing to our guy Pella, though.
I am, but one thing I can't give, I'm not going to give AZ Wildcat fan. You're not getting this. Pella has better handles than College Benedict. No, he doesn't. And I'll tell you one example. That TCU game at the end of the game where Tommy Lloyd's looking at him and saying, get your shot any way you want, and he gets his guy off balance and pulls up for the 3. Pella can't dream of doing that. That's okay.
Look, I'm okay. I'm willing to give Caleb Love the Ben comparison, but let's not get crazy here. And I love Pella.
Yes. Okay. Now, let's get back to this game then. Again, there was really nothing to take away from. There was nothing negative at all. Like I said, my big thing going into this, I know generally what I'm going to get out of Caleb Love, Umar Ballo, leader of men, and Pella. But my big things were you want Kylan Boswell playing with confidence, check mark. You want Keshad Johnson being aggressive, check mark. And you want the 2 dudes off the bench being able to play at the end of the game, check mark, check mark. I mean, right now, it's a good look, Skier.
Yeah, I have no complaints. Again, like it's no such thing as perfect, right? But I mean, Arizona dominated the glass. UCLA had 7 assists to 10 turnovers, Mike.
Right.
So as a team, that's crazy. It's just Arizona had 8 steals. Arizona won every single statistical category. Points of the paint, bench points, second chance points, offensive rebounds, assists, steals, all of it, except for blocks.
You know something that really dawned on me as the game went on that I think is something that we should pay attention to is Arizona is now clearly back to being the preeminent power on the West Coast. And Tommy Lloyd obviously has a juggernaut here at Arizona. He's bringing in players left and right. And it's a nice combination of domestic players, 5-star kids, international, developmental players. Arizona, it speaks for itself what he's doing. UCLA is squarely in the toilet under Mick Cronin. They are not recruiting well. I don't know how you're going to really get players there going forward. And Gonzaga, while still solid, is not the Gonzaga that Tommy Lloyd left. Arizona is at the very top of the West Coast pecking order, and I don't see that going away for a while, Sheer.
Yeah, that's not changing. And I think good proof of that is look at the recruiting class that Arizona is bringing in, right? And UCLA is going to struggle in the Big Ten. And I don't think the Big Ten is that good. I'm not saying that's why they're going to struggle, but that game, you have a bunch of teams that could play UCLA basketball and do it better than them, right? They're used to playing the low-scoring physical games and all that, and they're going to recruit at a higher level than UCLA. It's not going to be easy anymore, and I'm really curious to see how UCLA pivots. Like Cronin has a very big offseason. He has to decide how many guys am I going to run off, and if I run him off, who am I going to replace him with? Because if he runs off dudes and he can't replace them, they're going to be just as bad as they are this year.
This is a make or break offseason, I believe, for Mick Cronin, because here's the thing. And we're going to get back to Arizona here and about how they're pretty much, they're going to be the preeminent power. But people can put up with somebody being a jerk if he's winning games. You can't put up with your being a jerk if you're not winning games. And like you said, too, this is a barren roster that he's bringing back next year, because I don't see a lot of upward mobility. And like you said, you look at some of the players Arizona's bringing in. Carter Bryant out of Southern California, Jamari Phillips out of Modesto. These are the kind of guys that Mick Cronin, quite frankly, should be able to get at UCLA, especially coming off a Final Four, a Sweet 16 runs. And what you're also finding out, too, is the difference between Tommy Lloyd and Mick Cronin. Both of these guys inherited loaded rosters from their predecessors. Look at what Tommy Lloyd's doing now with his entirely new roster, all of his players. Look at what Mick Cronin's doing. One of these is very sustainable. The other one is not.
Yeah, well, and here's a good example. Like you mentioned, like there used to be a time in the UCLA-Arizona rivalry where, as good as Arizona was recruiting, Carter Bryant would have never gotten out of Southern California.
Right.
Wouldn't have happened. And you take a look. So what happens is now, again, you're pivoting. So UCLA thought they were in it for a 7-1 center, top 5 player. And they're saying, no, we're in it. Well, no, you're not. He committed to Duke a day after the article came out, because you're not beating Duke in a nationwide recruitment. You're not going back east and beating Duke or Carolina or whatever it may be. So once you lose your Southern California ties and you go away from that as a UCLA coach, you're done. Like you're just done. It's the beginning of the end. And whether you try to go international, I get it. It's a hot thing to do in college basketball. The difference is Tommy Lloyd knows how to approach it, knows what he's looking for in a player and how to handle it. Mick Cronin is completely new. And once Mick Cronin lost, I forget the assistant name, the European assistant who went to the Raptors, that hurt him, because now you lost your international whisper of sorts. And so now you're recruiting based off what?
And look what UCLA was at its best under Howland. You had a Jordan Farmar, obviously Southern California, Darren Collison, Southern California, Aaron Aflalo, Southern California. Heck, I could even throw Lorenzo Mata from Southgate.
Yeah, the best players that went to UCLA were from California.
Exactly. And then you had Kevin Love sprinkled in there. But then also, let's look at Gonzaga. Gonzaga does not scare anyone anymore. Gonzaga is a solid team, but it is not a top 3 to 5 level team. And I was talking with a few people about this, and I think a lot of that is Tommy Lloyd. Look at some of these players that are on this Arizona roster right now, and that they would probably be in one way, shape, or form. I don't know if they'd be at Gonzaga, but they're those type of players. And yeah, Gonzaga's solid, but this is not the team that was running off a couple Final Fours and was competing for national championships. Just from a talent perspective alone, Arizona has leapfrogged them.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mark Few. I think people give him a rough deal with the not winning a title or whatever, because it's hard to win a national title. But when Tommy was there, it was pretty well known in recruiting circles and all that he really, really made that thing go in a very big way. And that is why when the Arizona job opened, his name popped up right away, because it was the deal where eventually someone's going to hire this dude. Like, he's too successful at Gonzaga. Eventually he's going to want to leave Gonzaga and coach his own team. And there's so much recruiting success. Like, the guys that landed that Gonzaga, like the Sabonis, the Rui Hachimura, the guys
You're
like that.
You're Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah,
You're
they
Shettit.
all mention Tommy, right?
Right.
They all love Tommy. They still come back here sometimes.
He was Chet's lead recruiter.
Right. So it's like eventually, like when a guy like that leaves, there's you're gonna hurt a little bit, right? And Gonzaga's done fine, but I agree. Like the two best players on their team are transfers.
Right.
And they're right. So it's like they're gonna have to replace them. And now you wonder about the whole conference situation and where that's going with realignment. And right now it is a kind of a perfect storm for Arizona basketball.
Perfect. All right. Now I missed a super snap from the great Jeremiah Dibble in there. Hold on. Let's go back to this. I saw a super snap. Where is the super snap? Where is it? All right. From Jeremiah Dibble, my guy. The boys are blaring music and celebrating extra loud right now, and it warms my heart. Cronin has to hear it. Yes, that must be tough. Do we think that Mick Cronin's going to complain about the officiating in this game? And did he?
He can't say anything. I just got a text that Umar's going nuts on Instagram Live.
All right. Well, that's good.
What is Cronin going to say? Like, yeah, Arizona went to the line 12 more times, but I actually think he's going to be super complimentary of Arizona. He said the other day, he straight up said Caleb Love is a Pac-12 player of the year.
Well, no, duh. I'm sorry.
I know, but there's only so much you could say when you get your ass kicked, right? Like, you can't tear your players apart. You still have one more game left. So at the end of the day, I think his presser is just going to be like, look, Arizona's better, and hopefully we can bounce back, and we are what we are.
Do we think that he's going to Circle K? He's a turd. He doesn't strike me as somebody that goes to Circle K.
I don't think Mick Cronin has ever been to a Circle K, but after tonight, he may need some OGs, Mike.
What do you think about Hep C? Do you think Hep C has been Mick Cronin's father, Hep Cronin?
I love that his nickname is Hep C.
Do you think Hep? I don't think he's been there either. But either way, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And let's see, Arizona Lottery. Sheer, when was the last time you won the lottery? You said it was last week, correct? Or the week before?
Yeah, I won it tonight as well.
All
it's
right,
kind of like a weekly thing for me, and I give it all. I give it all to charity.
It's for the kids. I mean, it really is. The Arizona Lottery is not just about playing games and winning prizes. Like Jason Shearer, it's about giving back to the state and its communities. Visit azadventure.com for more information on how you can take an adventure for a chance to win $1 million in cash and Arizona travel prizes. All right, now let's talk a little bit about Arizona's seeding. Listen, 3 seeds are spoken for. I get it. Right now, I have no problem with Tennessee being the 1 seed out west. I do believe they're going to lose to Kentucky this on Saturday. But I am going to say that if Arizona is the 2 seed out west and Kentucky is Tennessee's the 1 seed, cool. It is what it is, man. I'm cool with that. I'll roll with that.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, look, if Tennessee loses to Kentucky and Arizona beats USC, Arizona's the 1 seed. I don't really think conference tournaments will impact much unless Arizona is losing its first game to an Oregon State or something like that. Yeah, whatever. I mean, look, at the end of the day, matchups mean a lot and all that, but you still have to win, right? Like whether you're the 1 seed or the 2 seed, you still have to win. I don't think there's a huge difference between the 7-10 and the 8-9 this year.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, I know I sound like a broken record, but like I always say, if I actually make a good point, then I am going to continue to beat it home because it's very few and far between that I have good points. With this team, man, to me, it's just far more about Arizona. Again, I get it. You want to play the easiest teams. But when Arizona comes out and they are fully motivated, when they are fully engaged across the board, 1 through 7.5, 1 through 8, I'll take my chances against anyone. But if they don't come out motivated, if they don't play well, then they're very vulnerable against an 8 or a 9 seed. So to me, it's far more about Arizona. And I think that it's far more about Arizona with this team than I can think of in really recent years, to be honest with you. Like last year's team could have lost to anybody in that first round. Like we knew privately, like Arizona had,
Again, love the guy. You're relying on Cedric Henderson, right? Courtney Ramey wasn't that good. Kerr was Kerr. This year, it's about Arizona. If Arizona plays Arizona basketball, it's making a run in the tournament. Like, I don't care who the first opponent, second opponent, doesn't matter. And I know, and this is coming from me, who is going to say it's all about matchups. And it is about matchups. But at the end of the day.
This is a little different, though.
At the end of the day, the matchup doesn't matter if Arizona's playing good basketball.
Right. I mean, by the way, we have a Cronin sighting. Cronin was just removed from the Grant Oracle Circle K. Man, I had a feeling. By the way, Mick Cronin, Nah, yeah, I'll get in trouble. I don't want to say anything. Okay. Let's see here. But Salt Lake City, then we can hang out there as well. But again, and with Tennessee, assuming, let's just say that Tennessee is because I got a feeling that they're probably going to be the 2 seed out west. It's just a guess, but
Arizona?
or no, they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed out west. I think that if Tennessee loses another game, I still think they end up out west. I think that bracketologist, Shear's a noted bracketologist, by the way. I don't think that anybody's looking to ship North Carolina out west. I don't. I just think with
No,
that
it'll be Tennessee will be in the West.
Yeah, but that's my thing with Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes does a good job, but Rick Barnes teams, I mean, we talk about Arizona underachieving in the NCAA tournament. I mean, if Rick Barnes is the 1 or the 2 seed, there's a great chance you don't even face him in the Elite Eight.
Like, I don't like Joe Lunardi very much. I don't think he does a great job. But if you look at you're right. If you look at his bracket, he has Tennessee as a 2 in the South. He has Iowa State in the West.
Bring it. Bring it.
Because he dropped Kansas to a 3, which is very possible. So I'm cool. Iowa State, Creighton, Illinois, BYU.
Any of those teams. And honestly, let's talk about this for a second. Which teams in the country, 1 through 7, 1 through 8? Try to take your bias cap off, or I'll take my bias cap off. You take your bias little trimmings off. Which
my bias yarmulke.
yeah, your bias yarmulke, correct. Which team outside of Boston College, Frankie Russell, which team is, I think maybe UConn. That's it.
For what?
Just pure talent, 1 through 7, 1 through 8. I think it's maybe
UConn.
UConn's the only team I think you can make that case for. I don't think you can make a case that Purdue is more talented than Arizona. I don't think you can make a case that Houston is more talented. Here's what you got to remember, too. Houston's very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But, man, Houston goes through long stretches where they can't score.
And they also have multiple injuries now. Like, they have no depth at all anymore. They multiple injuries. They're down to 6 guys pretty much.
Right. And
I think they're really good. Like, I think they're really good, but they're a situation this year where it feels like the game they lose is going to be because they go like 6 minutes without scoring.
Yes, and Arizona is far more equipped than they were a couple years ago to play Houston, obviously. Yes, Shed is an amazing. He's
awesome. Yeah,
he's very, very good. No problems there. But he's also not the player that is going to drop 35 points on you, though. He's going to play really, really good defense. He's probably going to finish with about 15 or 16, but he's not somebody that is going to single-handedly win you a game. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. But also, I think it's just UConn, to be honest with you. I think UConn and Arizona are clearly the 2 most talented 1 through 8 teams in the country. Talent, experience, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking like, I think Houston's really good. I think Purdue's solid. Tennessee's obviously good. But if you're talking from a pure talent perspective, when everyone's playing well, who's the most talented, it's easily UConn and Arizona to me.
See, I don't really Arizonian. I don't really Arizona matches up with or assuming you're saying
I think Houston does match up with Arizona. Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. For sure. But again, I will take my chances against Houston. Because here's the thing. If you can't beat Houston, then it is what it is. Because like you said, Houston at this point is a 6-man team. And it's not the tallest team in the world. They're very, very physical. But you've got Cryer. Obviously, you got Shed. But you also, like I said, you just don't have anybody that really terrifies me. All right, let's talk a little bit. Tennessee is an interesting one. Dalton Connect is way better than I ever thought.
Yeah, that's wild. To me, look, I got to admit, and I'm sure we're the same. We probably thought this dude was a mid-major white guy who's going to go to Tennessee and average like 12 points a game. Right. That dude's a monster.
That dude is, we were talking about Caleb Love and why he shouldn't be a first-team All-American and who's better than him. If you want to say that Dalton Connect is better, I can't hate on that, man. That kid is a freaking monster.
Yeah, he's efficient. He takes games over. He is a very difficult matchup for Arizona. I would agree with that. Tennessee, Arizona would be a very fun game.
Yes, it would be. Jeremiah Dibble, this is a very Sheer. Pull up your bracketology because Sheer is a noted bracketologist now. 7 to
My
10 seeds that
my 7 to
worry.
10 seeds.
Yeah, let's pull up your 7 to 10.
I
Who are your 7
am
seeds
right
right
now.
now, Sheer?
Calm down, Michael.
Pull it up.
Hold on. What am I doing?
Well, I will make fun of Rick Barnes in the meantime because, like you said, he is.
All right, I got it.
All right, who are your 7 seeds? Read them off.
Sevens are Florida, St. Mary's, Gonzaga, Texas Tech. I wouldn't want to face Gonzaga for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't love the Gonzaga matchup. Arizona's got better players than Gonzaga.
You
I don't
love
think
St. Mary's. You think St. Mary's is the best team in the country.
I think St. Mary's is better than you think St. Mary's is.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I think Arizona beat St. Mary's by 15.
Okay, you said the same about Princeton. Now, with Gonzaga, here's my thing with Gonzaga is, and I realize we're rambling, but we're starting to look ahead. They don't have, again, overwhelming scoring power. Nembhard is a very good point guard. He's very good for sure. But again, he's not going to be, although he did in the tournament last year. I get it.
Well, no, Nembhard's very good. I think you're okay with that matchup. I think the biggest advantage Arizona has is the fact that it could put Keshad on Graham Ike.
Yeah,
and in that conference, while I think Graham Ike is good, there's not really a guy that can match up with Ike. Keshad has seen better players already this year.
And it's not like Ike is a physically overwhelming athlete type. Yeah, I don't worry. Again, Gonzaga, that's tough. But Arizona, I believe, just has more firepower. All right, what are your other 7s again?
Boston College. College.
Yeah. Frankie Russell with the Boston College remark.
Texas, I don't know if they should worry me, but they are kind of.
They're talented, but they're also super disorganized. You watch them, like their meltdown against, last night or night before against Baylor?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I don't.
The reason you worry about Texas isn't because Arizona isn't better than them. Arizona is better. But when you look at their roster, they're super talented. Like Dylan Beasley is good. Max Adams is good. Tyrese Hunter's good. Dylan Mitchell's good.
And a lot of them have been there too. Like a Tyrese Hunter's been there. I mean,
right. So Texas is, if I was like a Purdue and I was a 1 seed and my second round matchup was Texas, that's intriguing to me.
Right. Oh, by the way, real quick, speaking of Florida, and I don't even know why it's Florida because he's not even the coach. Will Wade, and this is totally off topic, is like the best coach in college basketball.
How good is that? They're going to be a 12 seed.
Dude, Will Wade, just so you all know, the guy that cheated his brains out at LSU and won like 45 games each season there. He's at McNeese State?
Yeah, and they're good. Like,
McNeese State hasn't made
they haven't played anyone. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, they haven't made the tournament since 2001, and they're like 28-3.
They're 28-3, and they have played. I mean, they have, Mike, their second win of the season was against a school called Biblical Studies. But still.
That's where Sheer and I played.
Yeah, like, Will Wade beat Jesus. Like, not a lot of people could do that.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Can I say
now,
that?
Who are your 8 seeds on your bracketology?
Michigan. Well, no, Michigan State's falling now. Nevada, Northwestern, Oklahoma, teams like that.
None of those teams do anything for
Nebraska,
but none of those teams really do.
No. I think to me, Texas and Gonzaga would be the 2 that I don't really want to face.
Yeah, but again, Arizona still though should be able to beat those teams is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then, Nevada, the Nevada doesn't totally suck. I've watched Nevada. I actually like Mountain West basketball this year. Mountain West basketball is good.
Remember when you told me, quote, New Mexico's the best team in the country?
Dude, I sent them into a spiral.
And now, I think since then, they've lost like 5 of their last 6, and now they might not even make the tournament.
They might not even make the tournament now. By the way, Colorado, or is it Utah State? I was watching Mulebach the other day.
Utah State, to me,
they're pretty good.
If you want to talk about the Mountain West, San Diego State, I think is solid. Obviously, I like Utah State a lot, and also another team that is killing it lately, at least offensively, is Boise. Boise's scoring the ball at a crazy rate right now.
Utah State, we're going to get to RJ here in a second. Utah State is the one that I have an eye on, mainly because I've watched them once because Matt Mulebach was calling their game against Air Force, and I was impressed by them.
They're very good. Their center's good. He's great, actually.
Yeah, okay. Now,
his name's great. Did you get it?
Yeah, I know. His name is great. I get it.
That was
really stupid.
Thank you.
All right, now let's see. BetMGM, the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Now, you might look at me in my guest room or Sheer with his dog's ass in his face and saying, man, these guys have really made it. That's because we are in the BetMGM Sportsbook app, putting money in left and right. Sign up for BetMGM, use bonus code PHNX, place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app. For at least $5, you will receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details. And now listen to Damon with the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-UP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117. For confidential help, Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
All right, now we got one more. Empire Flooring. You have Empire Flooring, correct, Sheer?
Yeah, I don't know, but yes.
Yeah, so does Jacob Franklin. He's very tall. By the way, Dennis Walsh, Franklin said he would come on. He lied again. Typical Jacob, just, doing his thing, whatever, dude. But Empire Flooring, check it out. Don't be like Jacob Franklin. Be cool. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. RJ is awesome. There are certain people in life that just get it. By the way, I went and watched RJ because I went to Saguaro High School. And when I was in 7th grade, Moon Valley came to play Saguaro, and I saw RJ as a junior. But RJ is just a natural at life. You watch RJ commentate, and I also like what ESPN did too, where they're like, all right, dude, just have fun with this one. Nobody really is rooting for UCLA. Have fun with it. I thought he was fantastic.
By the way, well, yes, before we get to what I was going to get to, but RJ was great. And he was funny. Like, I like the fact that he just said right at the beginning of the game, like, look, if you're looking for unbiased commentary, you should probably change the channel.
Right.
I went to Arizona. Like, that's who I'm rooting for. And he had the line where he was like, to be honest, this game was closer than I thought it would be. Like, right. It was 25 points. He was great. And you're right. Like, guys like that should embrace it. I don't enjoy commentary a lot. Like, I'm pretty picky with commentary. I thought tonight was fun. By the way, I was right. What I was going to say is I was right about Cronin. You ready for this quote?
Oh, gosh.
We can't guard Arizona. They're better than us. They're better than us on the backboard. They're better than us on offense. They're better than us on defense. They're much better than they were last year at every single starting position and the bench. I told you, dude. Like, there's some things you just can't. Like, Arizona could play UCLA 10 times and they'd win 10 times. They're just better at every single position.
I still thought that he was going to say something like, well, before the game, one of the officials said this is going to be a difficult game for you. And I had a pretty good idea from then on out that our team was going to suck. Yeah, but to quote DK, well, yeah, I mean, and not David Kelly, but DK on here, he said, yeah, duh. I mean, they are better across the board. And you know what's weird too is that Tabellis was obviously really good. And there's one guy, there's like putts in the YouTube comments that always brings this up. I do not care. It is my show, not your show. I just feel more comfortable with Keshad going into the tournament, man. Again, that's nothing personal towards Tabellis. He did some really good stuff, but I don't worry about Keshad folding in the tournament. And I think that's something nice to have. Especially with the way that he's playing right now.
I think the difference is and I think people were hard on Zoo. I really do. But I think the difference is that the scouting report on Zoo was push him around. Mm-hmm. And if you push him around, he kind of backs out mentally a little bit. Remember, against Princeton, he started off with the spin move. You thought that dude was going to drop 40 points.
Yep.
And then before you knew it, Princeton had him shooting 17-foot contested jumpers. And you're like, what are you
passing up open looks to tentatively take a dribble in? You just knew he was out.
He was done. You could take – I feel like Keshad is significantly more tougher mentally and defensively is better. And Zoo is 100% better on offense than Keshad. But that's not –
though, man, Keshad's a better fit.
Yes. In the tournament for what Arizona needs – Keshad is a better fit. Obviously Arizona would be good with Zoo, but they wouldn't be as good defensively as they've been this year.
Right. Now, let's, as far as Arizona, then a little bit Arizona. We got USC coming up. I expect actually. Oh, by the way, what's the score in that game?
39-34 USC.
Okay, I expect Arizona to smash USC. USC is not good. I told Shear this before the year. He thought this was going to be maybe Enfield's best team. Told him it wasn't going to be. That was obviously turned out to be true. I was right. Shear was wrong. But they are disjointed. And it's funny. I was talking to Mielbach a little bit about this. You watch USC, and I know I'm going to get beat up by some people out there. I do not care. I'm right. I was wrong. There's obviously Enfield is he's a different version of Hurley, and that there's really kind of no structure. It's just kind of every man for himself, everybody. And, I think that worked when you had like the Mobley brothers, because you just had two big guys that could just block shots and finish around the hoop. It's different when it's a guard oriented system. This is difficult for me. But I expect Arizona to smash USC.
Yeah, I think they put up more of a fight than UCLA did. The issue that USC has is that it has what I call like dead weight players. In other words, it has guys that like Joshua Morgan can block shots. He will not score. Bronny James is, I'm not getting into that whole thing, but Kajani Wright isn't very good. Big Vince isn't nearly as good as we thought he would be.
Right.
Those guys have to play. Right. And Arizona, for example, isn't bringing up guys, off the bench that are bad. Like they're just not, they don't have to play. And so that's the difference. USC is big and athletic, but their big guys don't do anything. So I think it'll be a closer game than maybe we expect. I think USC is going to try to do what UCLA did, but just do it better. But I don't think USC wins that game.
Did you see the Tabellis remark on there? I'm not going to put that on the screen, but
oh, come on. He's making good money over there. And I think he's in
He doesn't need to do that. David Blattman. Does anyone have the UCLA score? Very, very good. But no, also when it comes back to UCLA, though, we're gonna make fun of UCLA. We're gonna continue to make fun of them. It's just wild to watch that talent, though. Like I just kept watching it, and I've watched them all year, and it's like, all right, they suck. I mean, just at the end of the day, they suck. And Mick Cronin, too. Sorry, Mick. That's on you, bro. Like, you've been there now. What is this, Mick's fourth or fifth year?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's his fourth year because I think he was there. But again, this should be your roster. Look what the Tommy Gun did. Tommy Gun's got an entirely new roster now. Mick Cronin's got his stuff, and they suck, man. I mean, you got to look himself in the mirror. And there isn't really...
My thing is, if Mick Cronin's going to shit on his players, right? At the end of the day, you're the dude that brought in these players.
Right.
That was your doing. So if a guy's not good enough defensively, that means you missed the eval, right? And the difference is like, let's just look at the way they talk. I don't know what Philly B is going to do at Arizona. I know he hasn't done anything in 2 years, right? If he was playing at UCLA, Mick Cronin would have crushed him already. If you listen to Tommy goes, no, I think we're going to get something out of him. He just has to be patient. We like Philly and all that.
Oh, come on here, Tyler Warden. Now you're being mean. Andy Enfield's a better coach. Or actually, no, Cronin.
Cronin by far.
Cronin for sure.
So it's Cronin, Enfield, Hurley.
Then Hurley. But Hurley is a distant third. We agree with this.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, it's just wild to me. Oh, Tony Jones, the great Tony Jones, our guy, man. We're looking for big things out of your boy this year. We were talking about the ATL earlier in the day. Also, Philly B, let's be honest here. We're talking about UCLA's talent. If Philly B was at UCLA and they didn't have a turd for a coach, Philly B would probably play 15 minutes a game. Philly B or Will McClendon, who's better?
Oh, I am shocked that Will McClendon started tonight.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what message that was attempting, but dude, he's a negative.
Right. I mean, I don't really know what else. I don't really know what else to say there. All right. Let's think about Mount Crevis. I thought he looked, like you said, I thought he looked pretty good in this game. And again, come tournament time, I think there's going to be games where Mount Crevis isn't going to play. But I'm going to say this. It does feel like there's going to be a game somewhere where either Umar Ballo gets into foul trouble or Keshad Johnson, I don't know, rolls his ankle, whatever the case may be. It does feel like there's going to be there's going to be a time in the tournament where they're going to need 7 to 10 minutes out of him.
Yeah, and you know what the importance of Krivas is right now, and it actually showed up tonight. Krivas played 20 minutes, and Umar played 18. You are in March, and you know Umar is going to have to play a lot of minutes next week and in the tournament, whatever. The fact that you could only give Umar 18 points in a big win, that's big. Like, that's really big. And against USC, where he's going to face bigs again, like, anytime you could rest a guy like Umar, you do it. And let's say Arizona in the first round, it gets a lead, you can put Krivas in and be comfortable with it. And there's certain matchups you're not. Like, we talked about UConn and Houston. Krivas can't play against those teams. Right. He just can't, right? Like, if they, and, you know, but there's going to be games where he can play it, and it wouldn't be surprised if he contributed. I thought he played really well tonight. You know, one of the best plays of the game was that assist on the cut to Bradley. That was fantastic.
Right. All right. Now, I wanted. This is a little bit off topic, but a little bit off topic.
We're never off topic.
We never go off topic on this show. But I have had questions left and right. I'm going to continue to get these questions about Elijah Arenas, Gilbert Arenas' son. This has become kind of a cult recruitment. Here's what I can tell you: he is going to be a high 5-star kid. He's also plays really bad competition, which is still kind of weird for me. And he does basically whatever he wants. This recruitment, Arizona is going to be on him until the very end, but he could go to Kentucky. He could go to Arizona. He could go play in Bangladesh or the G League, and it would not surprise me at all. This is going to be a very interesting recruitment that is going to play out for a long time, Sheer.
Yeah. I mean, it's not coming to he hasn't even taken visits yet. You know, Gil, if you know Gil, you know what kind of recruitment this is going to be. Nothing would surprise me. I think you nailed it. I have no idea. I have no feel on the recruitment. There's some other guys that I can name that I think are probably going to wind up at Arizona, or, you know, or Arizona is going to be a finalist. Arenas, they're doing well with them, but I don't know what doing well means.
Right. I mean, they're going to be on him until the very end, but that's all I got for you on when it comes to him. But he's obviously a fantastic basketball player. It is just weird to me that he does play at such a low scale program, but whatever. All right. Now, moving forward then, Pac-12 tournament. If Arizona beats SC, they're squarely locked in as a 2 seed at the very least. I'm kind of curious as to where, you know, how badly does Arizona go for that Pac-12 championship?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm pulling up the bracket. There's a site I use where you could do the results day by day. Like, if the results right now hold, Arizona would play the winner of Washington and ASU. Would probably play Oregon. It's tough because, like,
right,
the Pac-12 isn't good. Like, Arizona should walk to the championship game.
Right.
And if it's and let me tell you something, if the championship game is Washington State, you kind of need to beat the crap out of them, right?
You need to beat the crap out of them. And again, we will be there. Yes, we will be there. Jason Shear's coming to the first Pac-12 tournament ever. We appreciate
it is literally the first Pac-12 tournament since they moved to the T-Mobile Arena that I've been in.
All right.
Very excited.
All right. Before we sign off here, Shear, where can they find you doing your work?
WildcatAuthority.com, at Jason Shear on Twitter, and Shelby and I are about to record the Wildcat Scoop podcast.
All right.
And the Autograph app as well. The Autograph app, AZCat is the reference code. Check it out. I know you're giving me a look. It's really cool. Go to Wildcat Authority on the front page. We have an article about it. Tom Brady founded it. It's a cool new thing we're doing. Check it out.
All right, now become a PHNX diehard as well. All kinds of cool stuff. Check out these shirts. Jacob Franklin, pull the shirt up right now. Pull it up.
Now, Jacob.
Beautiful. BTFD. These things are going like hotcakes. Check it out because, again, we've seen people. I will be signing these shirts in Las Vegas. Oh, and a loyalty shirt. Jed Fish just bought one of these. Check it out. All right, now, on that note, though, I'll be back with you tomorrow. Shear's going to be doing post games on Saturday as well. This is true, Shear.
It is. Me and LeBron.
All right. Yes, that's where we're at. All right. For Jason Shear, all of you out there, very much appreciated. Big time Arizona Pac-12 champions, baby. Bear down. Can I get a back the A out of you, Shear?
Back the A. And also, yes, Mike, people are saying to the side, you don't know this. You're on the Autograph app too.
What do you mean?
Yeah, you're on it.
How am I on it?
Look at everyone on the side. You're on it because it curates Arizona stuff. So it loads your podcast. Like the audio for this will be on the Autograph app.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I am on the app. Check me out on the, what is it called again?
Autograph app.
Check me out on the Autograph app
I'll
as
send
well.
it to you. I'll send it to you.
Very cool. All right. On that note, bear down, back the and the Caleb Love experience. Rhino gave me full credit for it.
God.
Tell Shelby to find those receipts because I found mine.
Yeah, she's listening to all of them now. Also, guys, Mike will be signing autographs in Vegas at Crazy Horse 2. We'll let you know what time. He'll be right out front signing autographs.
I'll be there. Back the autograph. On that note, we'll be back with you tomorrow. You've been listening. Oh, back the Carlos Tears experience. Yes. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats postgame.
We all silly like the mayor.